I just kept saying that. And eventually Mason crawled onto my lap, and you could literally feel him melt in my arms. And we just sat there and hugged. Tantrum over, didn't get his way. Instead, we just calmed it together. It's usually best if you stay nearby. A lot of times, people will totally walk away from a child, and that will make it worse. Sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't make it worse and you walk away, then walk away. But sometimes they need to at least be able to see you. So let them see you. Don't go over and talk to them. Don't do any of that, but let them see you while you're letting it pass and you're staying calm. Talk about options. Talk about options after the tantrum is over. After the tantrum's over, not during. If you talk to your child during, and I'll repeat this again, you are going to escalate the tantrum. It will be harsher. It will last longer, because basically with the brain's in tantrum mode. It can't receive information. And if you're trying to talk to them, really, you need to calm down. You need to stop. Yeah, I'm so aggravated. And you're yelling and screaming. They are having sensory overload. And it's going to make the whole thing worse and last even longer. Do not continue to talk while they're having the tantrum. Let it pass. Here is what not to do. This is what you should not do. And you can take a screenshot of this if you want. Number 1, again, do not yell and scream. Yelling and screaming at them, yelling and screaming, number 1, makes no logical sense. Number 2 is not helping. When is the last time you had a screaming battle with an adult? Did anything get resolved? No, because nothing does get resolved. You're just sitting there screaming at each other. Same with you and a child, and you're the grown-up, and they're the child. So be an adult and learn how to regulate your emotions so they can learn how to regulate theirs. It's all about that. Do not, remember, these are all things you should not do. Do not talk to them during it. And I just explained why. It is sensory overload. Even if you're talking like, honey, calm down. Calm down, honey. Honey, please calm down. Even if you're saying that, it is still sensory overload for them. They are not hearing you, and you are making the tantrum worse and worse. Do not, this is in bold letters because once again, we talked about it previously. Do not give in to what they want. This has nothing to do with hugs and love. If your child is really overly upset, they've been screaming for 10 minutes, you can comfort them. Do not give in to what they want. Sometimes they just need the comfort because they're just so out of control and they feel so anxious about what's going on, and they don't have the tools they need to relax. So you comforting them will relax them. But don't give in. Don't ever give in to what they are crying about. They're crying about because you said no, stick to no. If they're crying about because you said we can't go for a walk right now, don't go for a walk. Even once they stop. I have many parents who say, well, once the tantrum stops, then can we go for a walk? Or then can I give them candy? No, because you're still confirming your child had a tantrum and the tantrum stopped and now they got their way. You're not acknowledging them getting over it. You're acknowledging they threw a tantrum and you're still giving them their way. Do not give in. Definitely do not hit them. If you are hitting your child, I will ask you this question, because I got asked this question by one of my parents. They said to me, "You have to admit that there is an appropriate time to hit a child. And if you feel that way, I want you to think about this. When is it an appropriate time for you to be hit? When is it appropriate for someone to hit you? When is it appropriate for your spouse to hit you? When is it appropriate for somebody walking on the street to hit you? When is it appropriate for your boss to hit you? When is it appropriate for you to be hit? Never. That is the answer. And it is never appropriate to hit a child. Not only are they a human person like you are, but now you're hitting a child that has an underdeveloped brain and doesn't even have control over a lot of things of their being and their mind. They're waiting for you to teach. So if you smack them or hit them, guess what they learn? They learn to hit. They learn to hit others. I'm not getting my way, so I'll just smack you. Dad smacked me, mom smacked me, so I guess I can smack you. It is never, never, never appropriate to hit a child, just like it is never appropriate to hit another human being. And do not shame them. Do not make fun of them. Don't call them names. Don't be like, "Cry baby, why are you crying? Nah, 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 you're always crying." They are crying because they don't know how to control their emotions. They don't know what else to do. But what if people shout at you that your child is making noise or someone hits him, as in the case in my country? Yes, and Eddie Khan, I know that that is the case in your country. You are always in control of you. Always. You are not driven by someone else's reactions or actions. They are not in control of you. You are in control of you. Just like you are not in control of your child. They are, but they have to learn how to be that way. You have to be in control of you. What kind of person do you want to be? I ask you this very seriously. I want you all to think about this. What kind of person do you want to be? Do you want to be a person that's angry all the time and hitting and yelling and screaming at people? Would you like to be friends with that kind of person? Or do you want to be a person that's caring, that's compassionate, that's kind, that's loving, that's educated, that's intentional? What person do you want to be? Don't be a person you don't want to be just because someone else demands it. Let them be that person. You be who you want to be. Thank you, Eddie Khan. Thank you. Exactly. Stick to your guns and not literal guns. Stick to your belief because you know what? If somebody sees you not reacting to your child that way, you may be just paying it forward to someone else who's like, I don't know, I really don't want to hit my child, but everybody thinks I should. And all of a sudden, that person sees you, Eddie Khan, and they see you not hitting your child. And they're like, look how they handled their child. What a blessing. I'm going to try that with my child. When you shine, you give someone else permission to shine. I'm going to read you a quote. So bear with me. This quote is not on the screen, but I want to read it to you. It is by a woman. Her name is Marianne Williamson. And I want you to listen to this quote. It is super important. And it is all about being the person you need to be for you and for your children. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. Let me say that again. Think about that sentence. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking. That means being less than you know you can be, so that other people around you won't feel insecure. So that those people telling you what to do, they feel insecure. You going to their level doesn't help. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, and don't get me wrong, guys, it is fear. Don't be mistaken. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Great quote, right? Basically, it basically means you be the person you want to be. Don't let others influence you. You stick to your core values, your beliefs. You be a person of integrity. And when you do that, you just might give someone else the permission to do the same. That's by Marianne Williamson, if you want to look it up. Okay. Let's talk about this thing called calm. Yes, Akila and the Bee. Great movie, right? Yes. That quote was used in that movie, and that is a great movie if you haven't seen it. It is, but she wrote it before Akila and the Bee. Anyway, let's talk about this thing called calm. You know, I'm the founder of the International Day of Calm, and I chose to calm the world because we all need to take responsibility for our own calm, our own actions, our own reactions, our own emotional regulation, our emotional intelligence. We need to learn that. We need to listen and learn when we have feelings and what we can do about them. We have a right to our feelings too, even if someone tells you you don't. We all have a right to our feelings and our emotions. So one thing is to be intentional with your response. What does that mean? That basically means everything you're learning here, everything you're learning and you're putting in your toolbox and you're using is you becoming intentional with your response. Once again, just like we said, you need to stay in control. You are in control of you. Yes, Mrs. Naka, I agree. Best quote ever. Sorry, I just saw your comment. You need to be in control of you. So stay in control. If you're feeling out of control, go to number 3. Take 3. What does that mean? That means take 3 minutes. Take 5 minutes. Walk away. Walk away and think about it. walk away and do that trick. If you joined us on the International Day of Calm, I taught you a little code word, and I'll teach it to you again. And someone can put it in the comments. The code word is Peppa, like Peppa Pig. So if you feel yourself getting ready to blow, think Peppa. The first P is for pause. And if you think Peppa, you've already paused. The second E, the E is for evaluate. Look at the situation. My kid's having a tantrum. Why did they have the tantrum? What caused the tantrum? Maybe they haven't eaten for 3 or 4 hours. So whose fault is that? You're in charge of giving them food. You know, I should have fed them before I did this. The next P is plan. Now make a plan. What's the plan? The plan is, why don't I let her relax? Maybe I'll put on some soft music. Maybe I'll play with some balloons. I'll let her relax, and then we'll eat. The immediate need is to eat. Honey catchy. And the A is act on that plan. So you want to pause, evaluate what's going on with this tantrum, plan what you need to do so you are proactive and staying in control, and then act on that. Thank you, Sandra, for putting that in Nikechi. I appreciate it. And Becky. Pause, evaluate, plan, then act. So instead of just reacting to that tantrum and having a tantrum yourself, pause, evaluate what's going on, think of maybe something contributed to it. Maybe it was just you saying no and it happened. Evaluate, what should I be doing? You should be not interrupting and interfering and talking and yelling and screaming, and then act. You stay calm. You teach them to stay calm. Everything we do, good or not so good, we give our children permission to do. If we yell and scream, they yell and scream. If we throw tantrums, they throw tantrums. If we stay calm, they stay calm. Breathe. Hopefully you guys can see me. So let me show you what you're going to help your child to breathe. Hold up a finger. Smell the flower. And then blow out the candles. Hold up more fingers so they blow out for long. Smell the flower. Blow out the candles. Teach them to breathe, because breathing is kind of a weird thing. Okay, honey, breathe. Like, what is breathing? I do it every day. Smell the flower. Blow out the candles. And role model your own emotional regulation. Role model how you stay calm. Okay. Now, I'm going to get to questions, but I want to get through the presentation and then we'll answer questions, okay? So leave your questions and hopefully someone will look for them or I'll find them. Okay. Communication. So often I'm asked, well, why can't we just talk to them and tell them to calm down or tell them to stop crying or all of that? Because once again, when you talk to them during a tantrum, you escalate the tantrum. When you talk to them during a tantrum, you make it worse. When do you talk to them? After they've calmed down, then you can say, honey, I know you were upset that you couldn't have candy, but really we're going to eat right now. If you'd like, you could have some broccoli right now if you're hungry, but not candy. Once it has calmed down, then talk to them. Okay? Teach. Part of that talk should be teaching them alternative responses to their feeling. Using their words if you have words yet. Relaxing themselves, doing the breathing, the smell the flowers, and blow out the candles. Using different techniques to respond. They can stomp their feet 3 times. 1, 2, 3. They can squeeze their fists and let it go and free themselves. Teach them different ways that you respond when you're upset. Tell them stories about what happens with you. Don't mock them. Don't make fun of them. Don't call them names. You're such a crybaby. Do not label your kids. When you label your kids a crybaby, lazy, stubborn, a liar, guess what? They will live up to those expectations and they will always be lazy, a liar, stubborn, and a crybaby. Do not call names. And what you do need to do in the final step of communication is tell them you love them when everything is done. Toddlers always need to know that their parents love them unconditionally and never based on their behavior. Their behavior is their challenges, their struggles. Would you like to be judged based on your struggles and challenges? Don't judge your child. Love them unconditionally. Consistency. Consistency is key in all of parenting. So master it. Be consistent. I have people say, well, routines don't work in my house. They don't work in my house because you're not consistent. Plan your reaction to the tantrums, what we just learned, and be consistent with that reaction. You learn the 4 triggers: hunger, thirst, sleep, overwhelm. Don't plan activities until you resolved the triggers. If your child's hungry, that's not the time to take them out to a store. Feed them first. If your child needs to go to a party, you want them to get a nap before they go. Don't take them during their nap. Resolve those triggers for you too. If you're hungry, don't go out. You're going to get irritable. If you've had a bad night's sleep, take a rest, take a nap with your child when they nap. Never give in. Never. Consistently do not give in. Don't say, oh, well, maybe this once. No, not even once. Because if you do it one time, you confirm that tantrums work and they will start having them again. And give them positive attention. Notice what they're doing right instead of always reacting to what they're not doing right. When they have great behaviors, notice it and let them know. Tell them, wow, honey, thank you so much. You picked up all your toys. I didn't even have to ask you. Thank you. Siblings are playing nice for 20 minutes. Say, wow, guys, thanks so much for playing so nice with each other. Notice what they do right. They do a whole lot more right than wrong. But we just naturally focus on what they're doing wrong. And that's what you give them attention for. They don't get attention for what they do right. So they grow up thinking everything they do is wrong and nothing they do is right. Offer that positive attention. Culture. What is the environment of your home like? I'm not talking about the culture of your community or the culture of your state or your country. I'm talking about the culture that you create in your home. What is that? Is it loud? Is it noisy? Is everybody screaming? That is stressful and chaotic just to talk about it. Or is it more calm? Is it fun? Do you love each other? Do you play games together? Do you have a spiritual basis to your home? Are you grateful? Are you noticing the positive and behaving with a smile on your face and being positive? Are you showing attention to their positive behaviors and showing them how they can turn around the situation to make it more positive? Are you living by your core values, being a person of integrity? Are you role modeling who you want them to be? And if that person is screaming and yelling, guess what? They're going to be screaming and yelling. If you are the role model of calm and happiness and kindness and respectfulness and fun, they will be that person too. What do you need to start doing now? Right now. You need to be the person you want your kids to be. Right now. Look in the mirror. When we're off of this this training and you're done with this challenge, look in the mirror and say, what is it about me that is not working? Because if it's not working for you, it's not going to work for your kids. And they will learn to do it because you are their strongest role model. So be the person you want your kids to be. Spend positive time with your kids. And frankly, guys, only needs to be like 10, 15 minutes. Sit down, play a game with them. You're on the phone, they're quiet. Get off the phone and say, you know what, guys, thank you so much for being quiet. I needed to talk on the phone. Why don't we play a game together and sit down for 10 or 15 minutes and have fun with your child, not watching your child, not watching them, playing with them. Remember all the benefits of play. They're endless, endless. Play is the highest form of research. That's what Thomas Edison said. And it's true. They learn everything from play. Everything they need in life, they learn from play. Play with them. Notice the good they do and let them know you noticed. Just like I just talked about. And start seeing the world through their eyes. What does the world look like when you look through a 2-year-old eyes? It looks like fun. It looks like everything's exciting and sparkly and new. Curiosity, they are full of curiosity. They're not looking through a 30-year-old eyes that's been on this planet for 30 years. It's all new to them. Think about what that's like. Experience that joy. See what they see. Put yourself in their shoes. And please stop yelling and hitting your child. They are also learning from you. If you don't want them to yell and hit, stop yelling and hitting them. You're their role model. I don't know how much stronger I can impress upon you. I don't care if your parents think you should. I don't care if teachers think you should. I don't care if the community thinks you should. I don't care if your culture says it's okay. It is not okay. How do you feel when you're yelled at and hit? All you have to do is answer that question. How do you feel when you're yelled at and hit? People will say, that's how they respect you. Do you respect someone who's hitting you all the time? Do you? I'd be willing to say that answer is no. Your children don't respect you either. They're now afraid of you. I know you guys genuinely love your children, and that's why you're here. And you don't want them to be afraid of you. Well, if you're yelling at them all the time and you're hitting them, they are afraid of you. They are listening because they're afraid. They are not cooperating because they want to. I would even encourage you to take the word obey out of your vocabulary because you don't want a child to obey. You want a child to cooperate. And you get cooperation when you treat a child like the human being they are with respect. None of us want to be screamed and yelled at. None of us like screaming and yelling. Do you actually like screaming and yelling at your child? Answer me this in the comments. How do you feel when you scream and yell and hit your child? Do you feel like a good parent or a bad parent? How does it make you feel? Put it in the comments. I truly want to know if anybody out there feels good about yelling and hitting your child. I can't imagine why you'd be here if you felt good about it. Wouldn't you like to feel like a great parent? I told you before, I've raised 5 children. 2 I gave birth to, 3 I gained through marriage. All of my kids are in their 30s to 40s. I raised 5 children in a blended family with other parents influencing these 5 children without yelling. Did I never yell? No, I'm sure I yelled once in a while. But overall, 95%, 98%, I did not yell, and they cooperated. It was not chaos in my house. They did their chores, they cleaned up, they helped out all the time perfectly? Of course not. But yelling is not communicating. Well, that's not true. It is communicating, but it's not productive communication. It's not constructive communication. Honey, honey. Sorry about that. It is not good communication. Do not yell at your child and hit your child. You are doing nothing productive. You are not teaching them to make a better choice the next time. Consequences teach. Punishment teaches nothing but creates fear, ruins their self-esteem, their self-confidence, destroys all of that. Do not yell and hit your child. You're doing nothing good for them. And I congratulate you for being here to learn how. Okay, so now in the comments, I know some of you put it in already. What made you say, I need to change? What was that that aha moment that said that you need to change? Oh, I can't put up comments. You can write it in the comments. I know some of you wrote down, I hit my child in public some times ago and immediately felt terrible. I feel guilty. You don't want a child to obey. You want them to cooperate. Dogs obey. Children cooperate. Elephants obey. Children cooperate. But you know what? A lot of people that listen to my advice actually own dogs, and they say it works great. So now I'm going to entertain some question and answers as I go through. And here's one. Oh no, that's someone saying, wait, I have to find the question. I'm going back. That is the norm of my country, and we wonder why we are not growing. Yes, exactly. You know, there is a lot of traditions we take from our elders. There is a lot of genius we take from our elders. With age comes wisdom, but also it comes generational cycles of dysfunction and abuse. And that's not always the smartest way. There is a better way. You're learning this today. You're learning how you can end the generational cycles of abuse and dysfunction. But it's got to start with you. You can put in the comments, it starts with me. Because if you continue it, it is proven that you continue it for 7 generations to come. Your children, their children, their children, their children, your great, 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 great grandchildren. Do you want your grandchildren hit and yelled at? Imagine you're sitting there with your child and your little 2-year-old angel, and I'm telling you, grandchildren are amazing. You're looking at that child and your daughter or your son smacks that child right in the back, right in the head, makes them fall, gives them a push, screams at them. How do you feel as that child's grandparent? Because you know where they learned it. They learned it from you. Let me see. I know there are questions here, so I'm going to see if I can. Okay. So here's a question. But what if you were standing before a yelling elder? And this kind of addressed that. In my culture, walking out on an elder when he's talking to you is like an abomination. I thinking of ways to help. Okay. So, and that's a good question, Edicom. So, yes, we certainly want to respect our elders, listen to them, hear what they have to say. A conversation is made up of listeners. If you are a good listener, you are a great conversationalist. It's an important thing to remember with your children. The better listener you are, the better conversation you'll have with your kids, and the more they will come to you to solve their problems. Would you rather they come to you to solve problems or they look it up on Google? I know many of you work with Wendy and you learn all about having difficult conversations with your kids. And if you're not in her Intentional Parenting Academy, scrolling right across the bottom, what are you waiting for? Get in. You are learning from the best of the best. Get in now for the inner circle for 2024. It will be here before you know it. There's only so many people that can get in. Be one of them. So if you're standing in front of an elder, be respectful, listen, but also help them to understand your point of view. Half the problem in the world today is no one's listening to each other. We're all judging and criticizing and ridiculing and blocking and canceling and all the other words that they use in society today. No one's listening. We've disagreed for generations, but we listened in my younger days. Because you know why? People have valid points for why they think the way they do. So talk to that elder and share your valid reasons why you think the way you do. Tell them honestly how you feel. Talk about why you do some things, but you don't do other things. Have a respectful discussion. Speak to them with respect. I hope that helped, Eddie Khan. Okay, let me see if I can find another question. My 8-month-old baby throws tantrums even to the point of throwing herself on the floor or anywhere she finds herself. Should I also? Yes. All these apply. Everything applies. She's throwing a tantrum because somehow she's learned that when she throws a tantrum, she gets her way. There's not enough positive play going on in your family. There's not enough happiness, Grace. Let her throw her tantrum, then come back and talk about it. Just because she's 8 months old doesn't mean she can't learn. She's mad. She's not getting her way. Maybe she's never getting her way. Maybe you need to do more nurturing with her. Maybe you're screaming and yelling a lot and she's learning how. Maybe your family is chaotic, or maybe she's not on a good daily schedule and she's not getting enough sleep. She's not eating on a regular basis. Maybe there's not a routine going on in the mornings and the evenings. There could be a lot of things that are affecting this. But yes, you treat tantrums the same way. They have to learn. Yes, that's what I did. What if they are crying when it's bath time? My 4-year-old does that every single day. We want to brush and bath. Why are they crying? Because they don't want to do it? How do you transition them from what they're doing to taking a bath? Do you just demand that they stop doing what they're doing and it's bath time? Do you want your child to learn to come up to you, demand you stop? I always ask parents, how do you feel when your child says, "Mommy, mommy, mommy, mommy," and you're in the middle of something? You say, "Please wait. When I'm done this, I will talk to you." And yet we do that to our children all the time. We're like, "Stop what you're doing. Time for a bath." We don't show them the same consideration. That's how they learn it. Remember, go back to everything you do, you give your child permission to do. So if you demand that they end what they're doing the second you want it ended, they're going to do the same to you. Teach respect. My 3-year-old screams back at me when spoken to. I know it's my fault, baby, do I. But yeah, if you're screaming at them, they're screaming back. So now you know, Nikki, stop screaming. Okay. I know it's a hard look in the mirror, but you need to stop screaming at them. You need to be talking calmly to them. Talk with a smile. If you don't know how to speak with a smile, practice it in the mirror. You can always hear a smile. Always. If I talk like this, it sounds different than if I talk like this. The tone of my voice is different. Use your manners. Well-mannered children come from well-mannered parents. It always sounds kinder when you say, honey, can you come get a bath in 2 minutes, please? I'll set a timer. And then it's bath time. Okay, mommy. Okay, daddy. And then when they do, you say, thank you, honey, for being so cooperative. Let's go get a bath. What towel? Do you want the teddy bear towel or do you want the striped towel? Give them choices. How about my 10-month-old who has started throwing tantrums to us? Yes, guys, apply these at any age. If you do the opposite, if you give in, they're going to have your 10-month-old's going to have tantrums till they're 10 years old, until they're 20 years old, and 30 and 40. All these principles apply. Okay, let's see. Any more questions? Yes. Yes. Oh, Grace. Yeah. Don't give in. Don't give in. Don't. Do not. Do not. Do not. Do not. Give in. You give in. You give them permission to keep having tantrums. You just taught them a tantrum works. Do not give in. Okay. I'm not sure there are any questions I'm seeing. If I didn't get your question, put it in the comments again. I feel terrible because I was yelled at and I didn't like it. Nobody likes it. Yelling is not constructive or productive. Exactly. It's destructive. Oh, I'm missing a lot of comments. Sorry. My aha moment was when my 3-year-old boy started shouldn't and hitting me, even when I do not hit or yell at him. Yeah, those are reactions that you have to teach him a better way. You have to teach him kindness. Utena has a question. How do you handle a child who throws tantrums for no reason? My son will be eating at the table and suddenly he begins hitting his head and crying. Really examine what's going on there. Don't assume it's no reason. There's got to be some reason that he's doing that. Is he eating perfectly fine and then just freaks out? Does something startle him? Is he full? Did you say something? Did something examine it? Really examine what the situation is. If I was talking to you, I would be like, what happened before dinner? Tell me about what he's eating. Tell me about what happens. Sometimes if he's using a utensil, he might bite on it wrong. He might bite his tongue, bite his cheek. Find out what's causing it, okay? Because yelling has never gotten me better results. Yes, it never does. That's absolutely right, Temitunda. And Utena, when you guys are eating, and this is to all of you, eat with your children. He might be throwing a tantrum because he hasn't had any attention from you. Eat together. It teaches good habits. It teaches them to enjoy their meals. It creates conversation, calm, happy conversation. You can talk about your day. You can have a tradition of going around the table and asking what everyone's grateful for. Eat together with your kids. Yeah, my children said they learned how to yell from me. Exactly. They all learn how to they learn everything from you. Everything. I yelled at my daughter at some point and I felt this deep felt heartache. And I thought, aha, I need to adjust because my health. Yes. Carissa, that's a great comment. Stress is like number one killer. Stress causes illness, causes nausea, vomiting. It causes digestive problems, causes heart attacks, causes stroke, causes all kinds of stuff. Stress is not healthy at all. My 2-year-old has started hitting and shouting for no reason. It's not no reason. There are usually 2 reasons for that, Ugana. Number 1 is his need for attention. Number 2 is he wants control, which means you're not doing something. You're not giving him any positive attention throughout the day. You're not spending time with him. And you're not giving him options when things are negotiable. You're not giving back a little control in his life. Like, what are you going to wear? Do you want this red shirt or this green shirt? Do you want these brown pants or these black pants? Do you want the pink soap or the green soap? Give them options for negotiables only, not non-negotiables, so they get a little control over the situation. Your 10-month-old, same thing. I'll say it again. All these principles apply to kids of all ages. How do I brush my twins' teeth without tantrums? Well, brush your teeth with them. Everybody brushes. I just took care of my grandkids for a whole week at my daughter's house from Sunday to Saturday. We brush teeth together in morning and evening. Every morning, every night, I brush my teeth with them. How we all sat and brushed our teeth. If your child's having a hard time brushing teeth, brush your teeth together. And encouragement, guys, don't forget that motivation happens much more with encouragement than discouragement. Nobody's motivated by threats. If you're like, hey, guys, if you brush your teeth, you're going to get a sticker on the board. You can put it on. You can get 5 stickers and we're going to all go have a picnic. We're going to all go to the park and play. Motivate through encouragement, not always punishment. Yep, Michelle, they see you yelling. Exactly. It starts with me. I realize my kids just obey out of fear of punishment. Right? Consequences teach them to make better choices. Punishment just makes them afraid of what's next. A proper consequence, and we don't have time to go into that. I'm sure Wendy has taught you guys many if you're in the inner circle, and if not, she will. A proper consequence teaches kids to make a better choice. It starts with me. It starts with me. Yay. When I wanted to hug my child and he flinched because he thought I was going to hit him. Oh, Euphema. I hope I'm not saying your name wrong. That's a big aha moment, isn't it? You go to hug them and they're afraid they're going to get hit. Hug more. You know how you fix that? Hug more. My daughter started yelling at me the same words. Yep, they learned from you, Rachel. I noticed my child resulting to yelling when she expressed herself, so I noticed right away I had to do something. Very good, Bougie. How do you manage tantrums in a 9-year-old who does not know how to manage their emotions and throws tantrums? Yes, Becky, same tools. You can do this for a 40-year-old. They have to learn emotional regulation. It's never too late. If you're dead, might be too late, but it's never too late to learn how to be calm. Learn how to be calm. Starts with me. I need to change. How do you handle a child that throws tantrums for no reason? He just begins hitting his head and crying when eating. Oh, I answer that question. Jane, so what is the way forward after practicing all that is being said and the child is not ready for a change? Jane, your child is always ready for a change. Just ask yourself, does your child want to be hit? Does your child want to throw tantrums? Does your child want to be yelled at? No one wants that. Do you think they feel good throwing a tantrum? No, they feel out of control. They feel upset. They feel stressed. Do you think they would rather throw a tantrum over playing a game? No. They want to play a game. They want to be happy. They want to laugh. They want to have fun with you. They don't want to throw a tantrum. They are always ready for a change. Sit down with them, and you can do this with any of your kids. Sit down and say, "You know what? I am sorry I yell. I am sorry I've hit you. I am working hard not to do this. I am in this program to learn how not to do this. Please work with me. Please help me." You can even let your children hold you accountable by telling you, "Mom, it looks like you're getting too upset. Dad, I think you're getting too upset." Have a secret signal. They sweep back their hair. If they sweep back their hair, it means someone's getting upset. Hold each other accountable to taming these tantrums, to not screaming and yelling. When your child does something wrong and you ask them to do their consequence and they yell, "No, I won't do it," what should you do? 6 years old. Sharon, when your child does something wrong and there's a consequence in place, you don't ask them to do it. You don't ask a yes or no answer for something that is non-negotiable. It is non-negotiable. If they are supposed to go, if they lose their tablet, you take it away, you pick it up, you take it away. They lose their phone, this is the size of a phone, you take it away. If they're playing a gaming console and they're not listening, they're not turning it off, you turn it off, you unplug it, you take it away. Things that are non-negotiable, like consequences, are non-negotiable. You don't ask a yes or no answer. If you don't want the answer no, don't give them the opportunity to say it. I hope that yelled. Of course, they don't want to do a consequence. Who does? But they will learn the next time if you stay consistent. What do I do when my 3-year-old son hits and yells at me even when not yelled at? I'm worried. Nikki, if he's hitting and yelling at you, there's something that's not being resolved in your family. And guys, I can't resolve all these problems with one tip. You have to take this information and put it in place in your family. If your child's hitting you, you need to lay the boundary and say, "I will not let you hit me." Look them in the eye and say, "I will not let you hit me." And don't hit them. I'm a cycle breaker. Yay. I realized that in spite of the flogging, name calling, and yelling, I was never stable. They could as well say I'm abnormal or somebody to be with. And if you're doing any kind of flogging or name calling or yelling to your child, they are unstable too. They have no confidence. They have no self-esteem. They have no worth. They don't even think they're worthy of kindness. If you went through a childhood that included flogging and name calling and screaming and yelling, do you feel like you're honestly worth better? Or do you feel your value is very low? Do you feel invisible in your home because your kids feel invisible? They feel like nobody cares about them. Okay, let me see. What do I do when I ask my 3-year-old to eat hers repeatedly and she still doesn't eat till you feed her? Oh, okay. So I think, Mary Jane, what you're asking is your child doesn't want it. Your child wants you to feed her. If you're done feeding her, you can have a conversation with her before. Honey, now you're a big girl and you're going to feed yourself. And if you don't feed yourself, you don't eat. Eventually, she's going to feed herself. If it's like, "No, I want you to feed her," no, don't give in. She's doing that because she knows you're going to give in. She don't want to feed herself, then she can leave the table. She's not eating. If she wants to eat and she's hungry an hour later, bring her back, give her a dinner, and she can feed herself. You're the boss. You're the boss of your children. My child gets irritated easily and throws tantrums. I've engaged most of the solutions offer with little or no effect. My brother-in-law said it's in there. No, it's not in their blood, Jane. And I will tell you right now, you are not being consistent. If you are consistent with what I have told you here, they will end. I have taught thousands upon thousands of people. I work privately with hundreds and hundreds of people. Toddlers throw tantrums. If you respond the way you should respond, they end. I have never had a family that worked with me that didn't have their tantrums ended. They always end. You're not being consistent. You cannot try in one day. And it's a combination of things. It's all the things you're learning here. It's all the things that Wendy teaches you in the inner circle. It's a parenting system. That's what needs to be in your home. It's not let's try it once or twice and then, well, that didn't work. It's taken years to become what it is. It's not going to be resolved overnight. One tip is not going to change your world. It's a combination of things you do, Jane. So please don't give up. And no, it's not in their blood. No, absolutely not. That is 100% wrong. You're so welcome, Grace. My 5-year-old and 2-year-old, and they're so oppositional, and that is what leads to my yelling. Do you ever notice, Jessica, when they play nice together? Do they ever play nice together? Or do you just notice when they get in arguments? Notice when they play nice together, and don't always put them together. They fight because they get sick of each other. Parents are always putting siblings together. Okay, go play, go play, go play. Sometimes they need a break from each other. Just like you don't want to always be with the same person. Give them a break. Give them some quiet time. They're sick of each other. So when people get sick of each other, they argue. And you yelling is not helping. Let's see. Thank you, Topi, for advising Jane. When tantrum makes one run behind time, not wanting to dress, disturbs the peace, people in space like crying in the mall for joy. So, Aisha, have routines in place for your morning routines. Give time. Don't wake up 15 minutes before you have to leave. Wake up no later than an hour before you have to leave. Give time. Have a routine in place. If they throw a tantrum and you're in the mall, guys, that is different. Then pick up your child and go to your car or walk outside and let that tantrum pass. Millions of people in public do not want to hear your child have a tantrum. So pick them up and take them out and then do all the things I said. Let them just have their tantrum. If your car is there, put them in the car, put on the music and let them scream. And then when they're done screaming, you can talk about it. How do I handle my in-laws' behavior who makes me yell? Nikechi and all of you. Nobody, not your children, not other people, can make you yell. Only you can make you yell. People may trigger you. Your child may trigger you. Behaviors may trigger you. But only you can make you yell. Do not say to your child, well, you always make me yell. Nobody can make you yell. You are in control of you. And only you can make you yell. Think about that and then don't yell. I feel I'm losing my 10-year-old. She's practically unhappy, always yelling. Yeah, Michelle, you need to put these systems in place. What you're learning here this week, you need to put a parenting system in place. 3-year-old to eat herself. Oh, I talked about that. 9-year-old still throwing tantrums. I talked about that. Okay. I think I talked about all of this. Let me go to the bottom, make sure there's nothing new. How do you handle an oppositional toddler? Jessica, we kind of talked. You got to put a system in place, guys. It is not one tip. It is not one piece of advice. It is putting a whole system in place that includes schedules, routines, limits, boundaries, consequences, calm communication, choices. It's a system. We have a system for everything. What do you do at work? How did you learn how to do that? You learned, you went to a school and you learned the system. You need to have a parenting system in place. Stop flying by the seat of your pants. Stop just reacting. Become proactive, not reactive. Become intentional. Wendy's program is called Intentional Parent Academy because that word intentional is a powerhouse of a word. How do you become intentional? You learn a better way. Before I end, I want you to think about this. Yes, Toby, I agree. This moment of your life, this moment at 10:30, what time is it in Nigeria? Right now in the United States, it's 11:30, so for you guys, I think it's 4:30. This moment at 4:30, you are sitting here with all the intelligence you have. Every bit of knowledge you have in your head is what you are presenting at this moment. You are going to move forward with every bit of knowledge in your head. If all of you are here today and all of you have questions and you're all relating to this, and your family is not working, you're hitting, you're yelling, you're screaming, you're having tantrums. If it's not working with all the intelligence you have in your head, you need to learn more. You need to learn what you don't know. How are you going to do that? You're going to join Wendy's Inner Circle. It's scrolling right against the bottom of the screen. It couldn't be more affordable. You have to learn a system. You have to learn what you need to know that you don't know. One tip is not going to change things because you're going to fall back when it doesn't work. You need to learn what you don't know. If you are struggling with all the knowledge you have in your head, you need more knowledge. I'm always carrying and hugging my 2-year-old, and when throwing tantrums, is it right or should I just watch him finish tantrum first? You can comfort your child, Alabisi, but if you're always carrying them around to prevent the tantrums, you don't need to carry them around all the time. They don't need to be carried. You can comfort your child, just don't give in to what they want. Okay? And make sure that you're also comforting them when they're not throwing tantrums so they don't think that in order to get you to hug them, they need to have a tantrum. Be free with your love and your comfort all the time. Okay, guys, I'm going to go. We've been here an hour and a half, and I appreciate you guys being here so much. I'd love you to reach out to me. These are my books. They're available at celiasbooks.com, which are direct leads to Amazon. You guys may have a different Amazon to order from. Please go to dayofcalm.org and see what our Day of Calm on April 5th is all about. If you were at the summit, I know you thought it was amazing because it was. You can re-watch April's summit. A lot of information to teach you how to be calm. Great trainings. And follow me on Instagram. The P's covered up. Sorry about that, guys. Parenting Expert Toddlers. Parenting _expert _toddlers. I would love you guys to follow me. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Tranquility Tribe. And no, that's TikTok, TT. Look up Celia Kibler. I'm like the first 6, 7 pages on Google. I'm so glad you learned so much from this session. Thank you, Omolalo. I hope I said your name right. Thank you, Becky. Please take some information and try at least one piece of advice today. And if you do nothing else, start noticing the good your child does and start telling them you notice. Honey, don't just say great job. Say, honey, thank you for helping me with the dishes. Honey, thank you for reading a book to your brother. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you all. As always, let me stop presenting. Oh, see, I could have done that. I don't know how to stop presenting. Oh, wait, maybe I do. Do I? Let's see. Remove from studio. Oh, look. I did it. I did it. Yay, 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 yay. I'm always amazed.